On the set, it started with a late-night whisper. Kirk Frost sneaking out of sight following a whispered phone call. His face was drawn with concern. Fans are taken aback. Is it possible that Atlanta's power couple, the father of Love and Hip Hop, had a child that no one was aware of? When a social services file was released by an anonymous tipster, feelings were running high. Implying the existence of a concealed birth certificate, it turned out that the mother was already a regular visitor to those incredibly soundstage venues. The producers rushed. Conspiracy theories sprang up on social media as cast members exchanged anxious looks. Was this secret child a twisted plot to overthrow Kirk's rule, or was it evidence of his double life? The family was split apart as insiders. A current cast member whose on-camera relationship with Kirk is named the possible mother feels instantly imbued with new meaning. Every previous encounter is rewatched for hints. Alliances are put to the test and loyalties are questioned. On what actually transpired, however, no one can agree. Kirk was allegedly trapped by a secret he was unable to hide. Others think that the documents were falsified to cause controversy. There is little doubt that this discovery has rocked the show's foundation, and the hunt for solutions is just getting started. As if he could alter the course of events, Kirk Frost slipped into the leather armchair in his trailer and mentally relived the phone conversation. Only the distant talk, the crew, and the buzz of power remained outside as the line had gone dead. With the unexpected weight of doubt bearing down on him, he pressed his palm to his brow. There had been rumors of a secret child previously. However, they seemed unreal tonight, when fans learned that social services austate and claimed sealed file in his name, a birth certificate for a child born almost 10 years ago. Kirk's heart pounded as he recalled the previous week's program, in which he had joked and laughed about fatherhood, never conceiving that such a shocking truth may exist. Tasha K was pacing the producer's office across the lot, gazing at the folder that her door had been slipped beneath. The child's name, birth date, and most incriminating of all, the mother's identity were listed in the official paperwork. Asha, a current cast member who has been in scenes with Kirk since season 8, tried to steady herself by running a quivering finger down the page. The ramifications were astounding. A secret love affair. A controversy strong enough to splinter the ensemble and erode allegiances. She pictured the reaction of the audience. When fans learned that the woman they had stayed with might be linked to a secret Kirk never revealed, their emotions would run hot. Kirk came out, his face white, to find Yandi, his companion, sitting silently in the green room. She grasped his wrist and looked into his eyes. "What song?" she inquired quietly, her brows furrowed in worry. Speechless, he shook his head. When she gestured for him to sit, he lowered his head and sank in. Following, he found his voice in a hoarse whisper for a moment. "I just received a call regarding a file involving our child." Yandi's broke hot, and her eyes widened as she attempted to take in what he had said. Kirk's expression flickered with pain as he met her gaze. His voice cracked as he said, "I didn't know. It appears as though someone constructed a life with me, and I didn't even anticipate it." When the rest of the cast learned of Kirk's predicament, they gathered backstage and formed a hushed circle of interest and worry. Kirk's fiercest defender, Rashida, pressed in closer. "Tell us everything," she insisted in a quiet voice. Kirk looked at every face and gulped hard. He took a big breath and said, "There's a sealed social services file. A birth certificate under my name. The mother is someone here, a collective." He murmurs, and the family was split up as panic spread. Scrappy, Bambi, even Erica Mena, raising an eyebrow. Through the circle, the cast members looked at each other anxiously, wondering if their allegiances would change once the truth was revealed. Shelley, manager, showed up at the door, holding her notepad tightly like a lifeline, and she glanced from Yandi to Kirk, her professional poise briefly broken. Ashley pressed her pen against the notepad. "First, we confirm the facts," she said in taut voice. Kirk nodded numbly. I don't even know where to start, he confessed. Find out who submitted it. Check that verifies the legitimacy of the documents. As production resumed, tension hung over every scene, and Kirk found himself stumbling through lines, his mind racing. He felt like a stranger in life, and this child growing up unheard had been part of his story all along. Fans speculated widely online after learning the truth, thinking, who was the mother? How long had she known? Is their relationship real, or just a carefully hidden affair? And most significantly, how would the rest of the cast react? Every scene took on a new meaning, every glance a potential clue, and Kirk retreated during a scheduled break. Some cited scenes between Kirk and Erica Mena, citing their playful banter as potential hints, while others recalled a brief moment in Season 9 when Kirk seemed particularly protective of one female cast member. He flicked through his phone, sifting through fan speculations and congratulations, until he came across a private direct message from an unknown account with a grainy picture of a small hand gripping Kirk's finger and the comment, "Meet your daughter." He went to the empty lounge, seeking quiet. Emotions erupted, torn between anger at the deception and an urgent yearning to connect with the child he never knew. He pressed the image to his chest as if wanting to absorb whatever truth it had. Backstage rumors developed into confusion, fear, and remorse. His neck tightened as tears welled. Full-fledged arguments. While some cast members backed Kirk and vowed to find the person behind the secret file, others muttered warnings that revealing the scandal would ruin careers. Mendes scowled and crossed his arms as he watched Kirk's caravan door. He and Yandi exchanged glances. The show's washing machine? He couldn't tell, but the apology hurt. It suggested someone he knew cared enough to regret their actions, but it stayed hidden behind fear. Dawn broke over the set, painting the set as they realized their friendship with Kirk was about to be put to the test in ways they couldn't have predicted. With a newfound resolve, Kirk stepped out of his caravan and saw Yandi waiting, her face displaying a mix of concern and camaraderie. I found Tay's worker R, he said softly, and we're meeting this afternoon. Yandi took hold of his hand and said, I'll be there. As friends in a battle against secrets that threatened to destroy everything they had achieved. She said firmly. They headed to the makeup chair together. Kirk stared at his reflection as the makeup artist applied powder on his forehead. Steeling himself, he was going to face his greatest life secret, and regardless of who the crew called for silence on the set as the cameras rolled. And Kirk took his place, his heart racing not from nervousness, but from the anticipation of what was about to happen. Script called for a humorous moment, but Kirk improvised instead, and his lines faltered. Sometimes the biggest surprises aren't on the script. He continued gently, his voice steady. They're written in places you never think to look. His eyes were replaced by a steady, purposeful focus into the lens. Cut. The director signaled, and a tense silence descended upon the stage. Kirk was aware that the drama was just getting started, and as Kirk left the stage and entered a quiet hallway, the applause still reverberating faintly behind him. His heart thumping with a mix of fear and adrenaline, he clutched the caseworkers. Contact information. The hallway lights hummed overhead, creating long shadows that seemed to flicker with every step he took. And he realized that the person who held the key to this secret was closer than anyone had thought. With Yandine waiting nearby, the coroner put her hand in his and gave him a comforting squeeze. We'll find the truth, she whispered. Kirk nodded, but uncertainty gnawed at his determination. The secrets surrounding his child's identity felt like quicksand, and each new discovery drew him farther into they headed to the production parking lot, where Kirk's manager, Ashley, had set up a private meeting with a caseworker. Kirk looked around the rows of cars, watching crew members pass by without noticing the storm building around him. And he felt a glimmer of hope when he saw a dusty SUV idling at the far end. A middle-aged woman with gentle eyes and a gentle demeanor emerged and cautiously walked up to Kirk. "Thank you for meeting me," Kirk said in a low voice, and the woman nodded, looking around as if anticipating hidden cameras. "I understand you have questions about a sealed file," she said. Kirk swallowed, and he murmured, "I need to know if it's real." They both sat on leather seats that creaked under their weight in the SUV, and the caseworker turned. The windows were tinted to provide privacy from prying eyes. The woman carefully slid the envelope across the center console, and Kirk lifted the flap to reveal a copy of the original file after she opened her briefcase and took out a small envelope stamped with the department seal. Kirk's breath caught when he realized the handwriting on the flap matched the leaked birth certificate. Kirk breathed sharply as Yandi leaned forward and read over his shoulder. Marissa Cole, murmuring, "Marissa Cole," and most significantly, the mother's name spelt in exact formal letters that still appeared unreal. He blinked, his eyes swirling. Went on, she requested that the file be kept confidential until the father was informed. She moved on when she didn't hear from him. Kirk's thoughts were racing. He had seen scenes with Marissa Cole at photo shoots, meals, and even a few off-camera giggles. He recalled her soft smile and how, when she was anxious, she would tuck her hair behind her ear. He had never had any suspicions. With his throat constricted, he questioned, "Why seal the file?" The caseworker lightly tapped her fingers. She wanted to start a life before disclosing the truth, but she was afraid of the consequences for both herself and the kid. Kirk felt galled at being kept in the dark and a flash of emotion in his chest. Sadness for a mother who must remain silent. Regret not seeing all the signs. The following morning, Kirk returned to the set and discovered Marissa getting ready for a scene close to the boutique lounge. She stopped when she saw him coming, her eyes wide with surprise. Kirk's chest grew constricted. "We need to talk, Marissa," he replied quietly. Yandi lingered over Amarissa's lips, quivered as she met Kirk's gaze. And she whispered, "I never wanted this to come out like this," looking at the production monitors. Other cast members could feel the tension and drifted closer, drawn by the electric charge in the air, offering backup if necessary. Why didn't you call me?" Kirk inquired in a steady but sad voice as his hurt came to the surface. Marissa's shoulders slumped as she gulped. Her vulnerability hit Kirk like a strike. "I was scared. I didn't know how you'd react." He was afraid, just as he had been when he first heard about the file. As they conversed, his tone softened. "We could have handled together," he added. A tiny mob gathered. Intrigued, Carly read and moved forward. "What's going on?" With raised eyebrows, she inquired. The cast exchanged shocked looks as Marissa paused before trembling and explaining how she found out she was pregnant. How Kirk's name was on every form, how she tried to find him through mutual friends but was unsuccessful, and how she sealed the file in the hopes of gaining courage before disclosing her secret. "Show me everything," he continued, his voice determined. And after they walked to a quieter corner, Kirk's attention never left Marissa. Conflicted between fury and empathy, even as some mumbled about trust and betrayal and others sympathized with her suffering, taking a little photo album out of her purse. Marissa looked through images of her child's first steps, birthday candles, and school recitals. Each picture revealed a secret existence, and Kirk's eyes stung. "I thought I was protecting her," Marissa murmured, cracking. "However, I took away your time together." "Make up for lost time," Kirk pledged, as he closed the album and gave Marissa a startlingly heartfelt hug. Yandi watched with relief mixed with cautious hope as the surrounding scene paused, as did main scenes of family dinners, playground visits, and sincere apologies took the place of staged tension as the plot developed on screen. A cast came together in support of Kirk and Marissa's new narrative, and fans posted words of happiness and hope in response. A rumor that threatened to destroy him turned into a symbol of resiliency and the unexpected ways life can surprise you. One thing remained true through all the twists and turns. The bonds we form endure, even when secrets are hidden and waiting to be revealed. Kirk left the stage with his heart still racing from that spontaneous line, and Yandi appeared next to him with a worried expression on her face. Kirk's hands trembled as he took the caseworker's envelope out of his pocket. The wax seal was intact, heavy with promise and dread. He took a slow breath, then broke the seal and unfolded the document. Inside, Yandi looked over his shoulder, eyes darting to a quiet corner of the studio's back hallway where the hum of equipment subsided and the chatter of crew members subsided. Her eyes widened as she read the name in clean type. Marissa Cole. That's her, Kirk said in a whisper that was barely audible above the background noise. Tracing the letters with his fingertip as if he was trying to use touch to make sense of the revelation, Yandi took a sharp breath. She recalled late-night group discussions and practices, saying Missa Cole joined the cast last season. I remember she was always quiet about her personal life. With resolution taking over, Kirk nodded carefully, folding the paper and re-sticking it into the envelope. I have to talk to her, he whispered. Yandi pressed during a break between shoots. They discovered Marissa sitting on a folding chair in the corner of the soundstage, head bent, looking through her phone as if finding solace in digital distraction. Kirk approached him and said, I'll be right there, she promised, cautiously so as not to scare her.